2, 1, and Sky King, we're live. Hola, everyone. This is Uncle Vigilante, Uncle V. It is Wednesday at noon. Usually on Wednesdays at noon, I have some techie like Todd Lewis or Max Freeman, and we just kind of start talking tech. And today I invited a special guest on that you see, and boy, is it a pleasure. Usually I just interview pictures, pseudos or whatever, but we have Sky King with us. And Sky King is a, man, I hate to say a new community member, but in relative terms, you're a relatively new community member. But it feels like you've been here forever, because rare few people have come in like a bull in a china shop and just started kicking ass and taking names in a good way. And so for that, I want to say thank you. Not just thank you, but I admire you. I admire your style. And I also I can tell by your writing and such that you have a witty sense of humor. And so because of that, I just have to ask, Sky King, when did you stop beating your wife?
About 10 minutes ago, before we got on.
Okay, I just had to get that one in. But this is what you're going to learn today is a lot. It's not going to be an incredible deep dive into tech, so you don't have to be scared away that you're just going to be over your head. We're going to talk a little more macro, and we're going to talk about projects in general. Sky King has a lot of experience out there, and we're really going to hone in on the Epic Cash community and what makes us special in comparison. And you know, it's almost like you're Sky King. You're going to provide an outsider's perspective, because you came in and you kicked the tires hard before putting your own sweat equity into it. So let's start from the beginning. And first of all, I'd like to start with Sky King. Why Sky King? We all have our own stories with our pseudo names, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sky King, the flying cowboy, and his niece Penny and his bamboo bomber. It was one of my favorite Saturday morning Westerns as a kid.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yep. Saturday morning Western for kids. Yep. Sky
Okay.
King, the flying cowboy.
The flying cowboy. Now, you also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess you just had the spirit of up and away, and you got interested in airplanes early. And matter of fact, you're so adept with them, you actually build your own. Is that fair to say?
That would be correct. Yeah, I started my pilot's license when about 85.
Okay.
And, took a deep dive on that and just kept going until I had every rating except being a jet pilot. So
wow.
I always wanted to build an airplane, and a couple of years ago I finally had an opportunity, and I have the space as well to start building some kits. And the kits these days are very high tech. They're all CNC machined, and the holes are pre-drilled, and all you need is about 6,000 or 7,000 rivets, and 500 hours, and you've got yourself an airplane. So in the last 2 years, I've built 3. I built 2 Hummel Ultra Cruisers.
Wow.
And last year I built a Zenith 750 STOL. And this year I decided I was going to take a break and fill in the time doing a new project. And here I am doing Epic.
This is why we Epic, to take,
That's right,
take breaks from our other worlds. And it's quite a journey once you go into the Epic rabbit hole, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yeah, it's interestingly enough, back in about 6 or 7 years ago, Cliff High and some of his earlier Alta reports used to talk about SOCs, which were self-organizing collectives.
Okay.
And I've always been intrigued with that and kind of looking for, because he said these things would be starting to form, organically as time went on. And I've been looking around to keep my eye on where I could find SOCs, and Epic turned out to be quite an SOC. I mean, after doing the initial deep dive and looking into what was Epic, it didn't take me very long. Once I got on Telegram and started seeing the different groups and the community and all the different people from all over the globe and how they were sort of coming together and forming work groups, it's like, this is an SOC. This is a perfectly organic growing thing. So it
That's
was easy enough. Yeah.
I'm taking notes. Self-organizing collective. I've never heard the word.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite acronyms.
Yeah, yeah. And you're right. I mean, as I think it through, from the short period of time, which is a couple years now, gosh, it is amazing to see it self-organized. It's like you have new people, new talent who comes in, be it you, Tillman, Levy, Dark Star. Gosh, there are so many. Jam. And then all of a sudden, people just start allowing their talents to be able to emerge, and it is a real selfless community, right? Nobody's getting paid here. It's just out of kind of, once you go down the rabbit hole, it's this kind of love and passion for the project. First of all, kicking the tires and making sure it's worthy of your time and your investment. But once you identify or self-identify that, yeah, this is right for me, so many in our community take on the challenge of what we call putting our oar in the water, getting it wet and rowing in the direction that can best serve the greater community. And you sure have done that in a huge way in a very short amount of time. How did you find Epic in the first place, Sky King?
Oh, that happened through SGT report.
Ah,
I was cruising through Sean's website, and up pops an interview. Epic.
wow.
That's how he had it on his website. So, I had to listen to Max, listen to Mike. Thought, this sounds very interesting. So,
Yeah.
the next day I started doing some research and hit the Telegram group, and then I decided, okay, this is worth going a little bit farther. And being a techie, I thought, well, let's really kick the tires, as you say. And so I downloaded all the apps. I downloaded the wallet and the mining app and the node, and started playing with it because I'm a Linux guy. So I started playing with it on Linux, and because of my IT background, which I used to do beta testing, I did tech support, I did technical documentation, and as soon as I started working with the apps, of course, my beta testing and tech support started kicking in, and you start seeing little things going on. And so that eventually led me to the help desk, and it was easy enough for a square peg like me to fit in a square hole. So, so I ended up kind of on the help desk, going in with that,
Awesome.
and then adding ideas and some things that I found in the code and stuff, and started communicating with the developers, making suggestions. And one thing just led to another, and 5 months later, here we are.
Self-organizing collective, right? I mean,
that's it.
It's right there in front of you. You experienced it the last 5 months. 5 months. It
Right.
just seems like so much longer.
No, it seems like yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's true.
No, no,
It's
where'd
true.
the last 5 months go? I mean, geez, it's gone by in a flash,
Isn't that
right?
amazing? Yeah,
Yeah,
I was thinking about that the other day too. My introduction to Epic Cash was me conducting my shitcoin trials, and Max came
yeah,
on, and everybody
yeah.
knows the story. But what was going to be a 45-minute, declaring you a shitcoin turned into 2.5 hour interview to where I learned more about crypto in that 2.5 hours than I ever have. And if anybody wants to go, I encourage any and all people watching today, if you have not seen that shitcoin trial with Max, go into my show notes, because I have organized the show notes now to where it's like anything and everything that I think is super critical for people to, if you just want a good place to start, if you just start going through my show notes, clicking on links, watching videos or whatever, it'll bring you up to speed really, really quickly, because there is so much information out there. I just wanted my show notes I just wanted to curate them to be able to hopefully give people, if you want to binge for a couple of weeks, you could do that. Shoot, with all the content we have, you could binge for a couple of years out there. And I'm serious. But yeah, 2 years ago was the shitcoin trial, and it does feel like it was just yesterday. And man, I see where we're heading, and you see where we're heading more than most, because you are in that collective with the devs. And why don't you let me just ask the you know what a BHAG is, and everybody out there, if your kids are listening, sorry, but it's big hairy ass goal, and our big hairy ass goal for the Epic ecosystem is to create a replacement for the global financial system. That's a big hairy ass goal. So my macro question to you, based upon what you've seen, Sky King, do you think that we have it in us as a self-organizing collective to maybe take on that BHAG?
Yeah, well, that's a good acronym. Mine's better. It's called BMMG FRBS. BMMG FRBS.
BMMG FRBS. All right.
Right.
Unpack
Ready?
that one. Yeah.
Okay. It's Babylon Money Magic Global Fractional Reserve Banking System.
One more time.
Okay. It's Babylon Money Magic Global Fractional Reserve Banking System.
Wow. Okay. I had BS as something different at the end in my mind, but
that's not.
and Babylonian money magic. People who've heard me know that I'm fond of calling the people in charge the Druid Babylonian bastards. So
Right.
I'm with you there. So okay,
Yeah.
Educate us on that.
Well,
acronym.
it's basically, for thousands of years we've had a system through fractional reserve banking system, which is global.
Yeah.
And it basically, when you think of Rothschild, saying, I don't care who's running the government. If I control the money, I control the whole bailiwick.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
So based on that, you have to realize that the money system controls all of the other systems.
Yes.
And but everything has its time and place, and everything through cycles has to come to an end. And I think it's pretty obvious if you look around that what we have had, being oppressed upon us for hundreds of years,
Yes,
is getting ready to go through some major changes.
Yep.
And not in a good way for them. I think the system is about ready to come to the end of its cycle.
Yeah.
And if we don't come together and offer a different path to follow, then you can guarantee that, all of the evil globalists are going to come up with a system that's even worse than we have now.
Right.
So getting our own path going is, at least for us as a group, a way out and into something new. And if other people are caught unaware of what's going on and can't figure out how to get out of the quagmire that the old system is going through, hopefully they'll be able to see that there are options besides, the solution that, the bankers or the globalists are going to come up with. And that's just going to create more people gravitating towards something that they think might be better. And I think if you take Max's 50,000 foot vision of what the whole epic community is going to become, then people are going to gravitate toward that because it makes sense. And it fills a need. So all of us elves working in the engine room are hard at work trying to take Max's 50,000 foot ideas and distill it down to boots on the ground, business procedures, how do things work on a daily basis. And that's something that a lot of organizations that are organically growing sometimes tend to go off in a lot of different directions. And you've got to sort of rein some of that in sometimes and give it some organizational structure. We're not a corporation, we're not a company, but there are certain day-to-day operations that need to run like that.
It's kind of like, it's nice to fly a plane and you can even order the parts, but at some level you have to kind of start putting a little sweat equity into it, right? And building it. And it doesn't build itself, right? And if any part of, the build is done half-ass, there could be problems down the road. I think it's a really good analogy because the same with our ecosystem, which is why Max has been so brilliant, and Todd and with the defensive design of Epic Cash, and how Max is so mindful of every additional asset we need to be able to move value privately. It is we're not driven by wind moon. We're happy to take at it as with the outlook of get rich slowly. Let's do it carefully. And that's, I tell you what, even from a year ago, that's the big difference I see in our community today is sure. When I started covering it, we were 18 cents and I was there for the ride up to $6.85. And then we, the rest in crypto winter, we've had this giant retrace and such. The people who are in our community right now, I don't think, excuse me, but give two shits that the price of Epic is 40 cents, 38 cents, or whatever, because everybody is so into the macro and the vision, and they get it, and their oars are in the water. We're just too darn busy, creating value than to worry about, our click and update on the price. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. And I even think we should take the dollar value of the Epic right off of the wallet. It's like, who cares? Who cares? At the end of the day, I open my wallet and I've got X number of Epic in there.
Yeah.
I don't care what it relates to as far as any currency. Doesn't matter.
That's really interesting.
It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's how many pieces of asset do you have in your basket?
Right.
You know,
Because one day the world will be denominated in that asset. If what we believe to be true is going to come into existence. Yeah.
right. Yeah. Well, our basket of different types of assets, because we're going to have
Right.
EUSD and ECR and E1, and there's just a whole lot of assets that are going to end up in our little basket.
Right.
And it won't matter. What will matter is, just like any other currency we have going right now, do people believe in it? And, how do they value one of these?
Yeah.
Or how many of these am I going to trade you for one of these?
Right.
And it's the same thing with all of the different Epic assets. At some point, one Epic asset is going to be valuable enough to gain you a service or some goods or something in trade. So at some point there won't be a USD to compare it to.
That's a fascinating outlook. I think that's going to be really, really difficult for people to arrive at that conclusion themselves. So, really the challenge becomes, I did the series, the quest for superior money, and the only box that we didn't check was widespread adoption. And so widespread adoption is going to come by, frankly, us making things super easy, like with the wallet, and I think we've been making great progress. I want to ask you, what do you think are kind of the next benchmarks that you find to be most important in building this Epic plane, right? Like, what do we need to work on next to ultimately get this sucker flying?
Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to have, let's say in an airplane, you've got to have a frame. Before you put the aluminum skin on it, you've got to have the framework done.
Yeah.
And just like when you're building a house, you can't go ordering kitchen cabinets until you've got your foundation poured.
That's right.
So what I recognized right off the bat when I had been into this for maybe a couple of months, and seeing how all the different pieces and the gears meshed and things work together, it was obvious that we needed to make sure that we had something that was seamless and stupid easy for newcomers that are coming in with maybe some experience in other cryptos, where you download an app on a wallet, you on your phone, you create a wallet, and then you go off to an exchange and put some coins in your wallet, and then you can trade them with other people or go to the coffee shop. And so I saw we had a desktop wallet, we had a mobile wallet, and then we have our exchange through Vitex. Mm-hmm. And it became apparent that our developer concentration should be on making sure all three of those, the trifecta, all work seamlessly together.
They speak to each other.
Right. And they don't right now. Yeah. So, and again, this is because everything is growing kind of organically, and one thing grew over here and one thing grew over there. And now that they've grown to some degree of maturity, it's time to tie it all together.
Is the thing required to tie the trifecta together Epic Box or Epic Post? And if so, can you explain to us newbies what that is and what it does?
Yeah, well, right now, because of the way Mimblewimble works, you've got to have both wallets online in order for the receiver to get the transaction from the sender.
Yeah.
And
So let me stop you right there. So if I forgot that you agreed to cut my lawn and accept Epic Cash, and you cut the lawn, I come home and I'm like, great job, let me send 50 Epic and our agreed to amount. You won't receive that unless both our wallets are opened at the same time. That's how it's kind of always been. Do I have that right?
right, that's how it is currently.
That's how it is
with
currently.
with the desktop wallet. It's a little bit different now with the latest mobile wallet from that group, because they took what is Epic Box, and Epic Box came from Grinbox. Don't forget, all of our code came from the Grin code.
Okay.
And Epic Box came from Grinbox. And so the folks that did the mobile wallet did a version of Epic Box, and so that their wallets could talk to each other.
Okay.
And so right now, what we're doing is we're taking Epic Box and we're integrating that into the underlying code for the GUI wallet. And what it does is it has a middleman, but that middleman is called a relay server, and it lives on one of our own servers run by our people. So there's no third party thing going on. Like right now, in order to find somebody else's wallet, unless they're a techie person and they know how to go into their router and do something we call port forwarding.
Yes.
So
right.
that what you're sending can find their router and then find their PC behind their router.
Okay.
We have something that we've put in called ngrok, which is a third party business that creates a tunnel from an address. So the sender goes to ngrok, but ngrok already knows where our PC is, because the PC has first talked to ngrok and established a link.
Yes.
And the whole ngrok thing, I realized when I was doing my first introduction to the whole wallet thing, was like, well, this is fun for the techies, but this is going to be a challenge for the noobs.
Heavy lift.
Yep. And and I realized once I was on the help desk that a whole lot of the questions on the help desk was, what's this ngrok thing and how does it work?
Yeah.
So
and you wrote the guide on how to be able to get tokens, your Epic 002 tokens from Vite to the new GUI wallet. And so thank you for that, because without that, I know I never would have been able to accomplish that.
Oh yeah, but mine was just plain old ugly text, and R. Kaminsky has actually done a new version of that, and he did screenshots and
Awesome.
has all of the screens on your mobile now to go along with that. So
wow.
So he took what I started with and he's improved on it. So we have an even better explanation and a user guide.
That's called a self-organizing collective in action, right?
You betcha.
1 + 1 = 11. I mean, it's just the equation that works with any successful group or company or initiative. So there's going to be a point in time, probably in the near future, no overcommit, but to where somebody would be able to send from their Vite to a GUI address or to someone's mobile wallet or a stack wallet, to where they don't have to be worried about, back to our analogy, that while you're, riding your mower, I give you a buzz and I say, I'm going to send you 50 Epic. Can you please open your wallet so you can receive it? That'll be history. All I have to do, like if I'm going to send somebody today, something from my Vite wallet to theirs, it just happens, right? And
Right.
and so you and the other elves in the engine room are the ones who are hard at work operationalizing that, right?
Yeah, that pretty much boils down to Pool Boy, who is our GUI wallet dev, and he's taking our core product, which is the command line interface wallet. We call it the CLI wallet,
Is that the
and he's
CLI?
CLI. And
Yeah.
what he's doing is he's adding the Epic Box code to that so that it knows how to send and receive using that third party, only it's not a third party because it's our own server, but it uses a relay server. So when you go to send me my payment for mowing your lawn, it's going to go to a relay server, and it's just going to sit there waiting for me to open my wallet and check in. And when I check in, it's going to say, oh, I got something for you, and it'll shoot over to your wallet and it'll finalize the transaction and you're good.
Now, will this system or setup or execution, will it also then, because I know in my GUI wallet, if I take my seed words and I have the Epic Pay wallet and I have to restore those seed words to be able to see my balance. But I know then if I send, let's say 10 Epic to someone from my Epic Pay mobile wallet to somebody else's, it doesn't reflect back in my GUI wallet. They're not talking to each other. So will this kind of loop take everything to where no matter which wallet, just like online banking, I can do on my computer and it's accessing my bank account, or I can do it from my mobile phone. But ultimately, when it settles, no matter which device, which way I'm looking at the bank's ones and zeros, they're all going to reflect the same balance. Is that
right
going to be possible with what you guys are working on to make this seamless?
Well, right now, the only reason why you have to recover a GUI wallet in your mobile wallet in order to have a balance is because the mobile wallet doesn't have the Epic Box code finished yet in order for it to be able to receive directly. Now, once that's done, you'll have a wallet on your mobile that will have its own address. It will be separate from the address of the wallet that's on your desktop.
Okay.
So that way you'll have an address to send to and an address to receive from.
Okay.
And it will just happen through the relay server, and it will stay on the mobile. It will stay as a separate wallet. It'll have its own transaction history, and you won't have to have it mirror something else or keep in sync with something else. It'll be a totally separate wallet. And
okay, so it is not like, let's just say I had 1,000 coins on the native layer 1 Epic blockchain.
right.
What I thought, whether it's a mobile device or GUI, is that it's all they're doing is looking at those 1,000 coins, no matter which device. And so if I decided to send you 50 Epic as my mower, then my balance on my layer 1, my balance is going to go down to 950. And
Right.
I thought that would mean that what I'm hearing from you is you're going to have variable balances depending upon the wallet. It's not just like I'll have to end up having to have just one that I would, or several, break up several wallets to be able to access. I'm not just going to have one big basket of all my Epic and all of my devices are going to be able to see it, right? I'm sorry, I'm just
Correct.
a little slow
Nope.
on the on-ramp. So it's
No, you're right. Yeah, and that's pretty much the way it is. If you look at like some of the other traditional cryptos,
yeah, like
you
Veet,
you
right?
yeah, you're going to have a wallet address on your mobile that's different than the wallet address
Okay,
on your desktop.
I got you. But as long as
And
if you had 20 different addresses, you know,
right,
and you've split it up, those
right,
1,000 coins, you're going to be able to know because you're the one that has the seed words that ultimately they all total 1,000. Where you send them from or receive them is just going to affect that wallet's balance. It's not going to it's not going to point to a macro amount anywhere that keeps track of all the wallets, right?
right.
Okay.
Yep. And
Okay.
it's the same method, having these separate wallet addresses with different balances. We use that same method to create what we call a cold wallet for storage.
Yes. Okay.
So if you want to, let's say you've got 1,000 Epic, but you're really not going to be like spending it right away,
Yeah.
or you want to stash some of it off and just forget about it.
Yeah, that's
So
your boating accident, Epic.
yeah, so you're going to create a separate wallet, a new wallet, give it a different name, and it's going to have a new address, and you're going to send some from your main wallet
Yep.
to that wallet.
Okay.
Well, now the blockchain has the amount that you sent attached to that wallet. It's not
Yes.
attached to your main wallet anymore.
Right.
So now what you can do, as long as you've got the seed words
Yep.
that separate wallet, you can physically delete the wallet off of your mobile or off of your desktop. And it's now, so the key to your lockbox in the bank is your seed phrase.
Yeah. So
So
that
you can
is
write it.
your seed phrase becomes your cold storage, right?
It is. It is.
So you don't
Your
have to have a
seed.
ledger or anything. It's like you engrave those bad boys and shove them up wherever to
Yeah,
hide them.
that's
But
right.
I actually went
Yeah.
through a process where I was going to be on a cross country flight, and I invested that whole time to memorize my 24 seed words. I wanted to challenge myself to do it. And
Right.
you know how you create just kind of a crazy story and connecting them, and I did it. And then I went and I have it right over there, which I haven't read, but I'm like, you know what? It's not going to take me long to forget those seed words. So
Right.
I got a book that's over the holidays. I'm going to learn the right way to be able to memorize them. But why do I bring that up? Is you just never know what's happening this day and age, right? And I thought, man, the best place for cold storage, at least on a short-term basis, if I had to be escorted naked, you'll never be able to unsee that in your mind, everyone. I'm sorry about that. Hope the kids weren't listening. But if I can memorize those, my brain becomes my cold storage wallet, doesn't it?
That's right. Yep. If you could memorize them, that's great. Unfortunately, a lot of us have multiple wallets, and
Right.
it gets real difficult real quick.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm thinking about
again,
my boating accident wallet.
yeah.
that holds the majority.
Well, again, we have technology to the rescue. So I use a product called KeePass XC, KeePass XC. It's
KEEP
KeePass XC.
XC. Okay, tell us about
Yep.
KeePass XC.
It's a little app. It's like a little database program that encrypts the database file, and it's real simple. It just allows you to enter a URL or website friendly name, and you can put in the password it takes to get to that, and then you've got a field for some notes. So you can just create a new single file using KeePass, and call it Epic or wallets, and go in and create a record and put your seed phrase in there in the notes column, and it's encrypted. So after you get it in there, all you have to remember is the password to get in to open up the KeePass app, which will unencrypt the little file that you created. So now you can take that file and put it on a thumb drive and put it on 4 thumb drives and go hide them all over the house or in the basement or in the car.
Yeah.
And so now whenever you need your seed phrase to restore that wallet that's in cold storage, all you have to do is reload that database, that one little file that has that one entry with your seed phrase in there, and you just open that up and get your seed phrase, copy, paste, and you're off to the races.
So my concern with that, tell me if I'm wrong, aren't there like scumbags out there who for, again, newbies, the uninitiated or whatever, that can actually put Trojan horses on your computer where they can match your keystrokes? Aren't you still, when you're entering your seed words with that, you're still going to have to enter them by typing, right? So what if there was a scumbag who put one of those keystroke match? I mean, am I overthinking it? Probably.
Well, there's 2 methods that they use for that. One is directly online, where if you're connected to the internet with your computer, they're watching what you're doing in real time.
Okay.
And the other way to do it is they've got a secret little program file sitting somewhere, and they capture your seed stuff, and it goes into this file, and they can come back in later and just grab the file and read through it. That's highly unlikely. They usually do it in real time. So when you're going through this process of creating a new file using KeePass and putting in a password and typing in your seed phrase and all of that, just unplug your internet connection. Do it offline.
Okay. That's good. This is the important stuff, right? Because scumbags exist, and so these are the little kind of tricks of the trade to keep us safe. And when you talk about your little thumb drives and everything, hiding them around the house, fires happen. So please go get yourself a fireproof bag, some of them, and hopefully some people have a hidden safe perhaps, but I just don't. Here's the bottom line, right? With crypto, you are your own bank. And I've said it before, when things go bad and you call that toll-free 800 number for customer support, it's going to ring your own phone, and your customer service is probably going to suck because it's you, right? So we have to be so careful with our seed words. Yoga talks a lot about it. You never, ever give them up to anyone for any reason. Sky King, I know you manage the help desk, and these scumbags went as far as to impersonate you. You want to tell the story about that?
We had a user that was on the help desk, and he was working with Vite to do a download. He wanted to get some of his coins off, and in the middle of our having a conversation, I had to get up and go do some things. And during that little break period, someone came in looking like me and started sending him personal messages and asking him questions, and sort of led him down the path to where he thought I was asking him to give out certain kinds of information that I needed in order to solve his problem. Well, he ended up, going to a website that captured his keystrokes and got a seed phrase. And 10 minutes later, his coins that were in his Vite account were gone. They were put into another account. They were put on the exchange. They were sold for USDT. Fortunately, we caught on to what was going on. We contacted our contact at Vite, and they were able to put a block on the transaction from finalizing on the USDT side. So lucky for him.
Amazing. So there was a happy ending to that, where nobody lost their hard-earned epic in this story, right. But it just is there to demonstrate to all of you, that you're not going to DM anyone, are you? I mean, right. I guess when you're in help desk, there does come a point to where, or is there ever a reason why you would DM anyone as somebody managing the help desk?
No, as a general rule, all of the admins in the community, we have an unspoken rule that we're not going to contact any new people through a private message unless they've contacted us first. Okay. If somebody contacts me through a private message, and I get a lot of them from the help desk, believe me, they're coming to me first, and then I'm answering their questions, and then we carry on a conversation from there. Okay. But never, ever will an admin contact someone cold out of the blue. If you get contacted by what looks like an admin that's never contacted you, you can pretty much guarantee it's identity theft. And they're coming for you.
And everybody, again, we're going to keep hammering this home until everyone starts paying attention. But if you get a DM from me, let's just say you and I have had several conversations, Sky King, which we have by DM, right? But if all of a sudden you got my profile, looks everything like it, maybe something sneaky with my, instead of the Uncle Vigilante, maybe it's the Uncle Vigilante with two E's at the end or something. But, some that maybe you might not notice necessarily. And it is just a single, hey, I need a quick favor, something like that. And there's no previous conversation listed. When I know that you and I have had conversations before, it's a scammer. Okay. Right. It's a scammer. You can do a couple of things. One is you can just block, delete, right? Or you might want to screw with them a little bit and, just have a little fun knowing it's a scammer. That can be kind of fun. I know Max has a field day with that, so does Yoga, but probably the best thing to do, just SOP, standard operating procedure, is please just delete them, know that it's a scammer. You can report them to the help desk. I mean, you could screenshot it and just say in the Epic Cash community, wherever, just screenshot it and just say, it looks like, there's a scammer, beware, because that will help other people within the community to be on the lookout. But this time of year, especially, let's just be extra vigilant on this.
You have to, because just last week, I spent $4,300 at Louis Vuitton on my credit card.
Did you really? Wow.
No, somebody did.
Yep. Man, I got to tell you, I got my recent Amex statement in, and it shows like freaking, I don't know, a dozen charges from Apple. Some of them are legit, like for the storage of my, I have the 2 terabytes, so I know that gets charged to that Amex. I know I have like one of my Apple devices or whatever is like $5.99 a month or something. So there's a few, but I have like a dozen. But it's all the same, and there's no customer service number associated with Apple. So I got to waste, I don't know how long this afternoon to call Amex and just vet through it. But 'tis the time of year
It is.
Look at your credit card statements, make sure
Yep.
that that they're all yours. So you were
Yeah,
able,
I was fortunate because my credit union is very proactive, and they actually called me. And they said, we've got a fraud alert on your credit card
wow,
here. Did you just make a
excuse me.
$4,300 charge to Louis Vuitton? And I said, no, not me. So, they did a chargeback, and
Sorry
it
about that.
disappeared after 10 days. So that's
Okay.
okay. It
Yep.
worked. Yeah.
That's good.
But back again to we're going to hammer it again. Your seed phrase are the keys to your kingdom. Your seed phrase is the combination on your safe.
That's right.
Your key phrase is the key that unlocks the safety deposit box, but you got to be crazy if you've got a safety deposit box in a bank. Please don't do that.
Don't do that. Why
Don't
not?
do that.
Why not? Why don't you educate us?
Because the banks can open that safety deposit box under order of any law enforcement or government activity as they wish, or even the bank could open it themselves in a state of emergency, force majeure, or whatever. So safety deposit box are easy pickings for when they want to confiscate something. So
Max
you
had
don't want to
mentioned
use
Max mentioned to me in a private conversation that there are competitors to bank safety deposit boxes, that there are actually people who specialize in that are not part of the banking system, to where you could keep that fireproof bag that has your little your seed words or whatever. And it's kind of like, if you do a good job and you're able to protect them in your house and whatnot, tornadoes happen, guys.
right.
So
It doesn't take much research and creativity to find lots of safe places to put physical things that you want to protect.
right.
There's a lot of ways to skin that rabbit.
Yeah,
A lot of ways.
that's right. What's your take, Sky King, on all of the boogie news that's out there to scare us that the government is going to outlaw privacy coins? They're going to basically you're going to have to register if you have a self-custody wallet, all of this stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, they could try. It's all about how many people will be compliant enough to lower their head and shuffle into the gas chamber. There are alternatives, and you can follow the alternative, and instead of saying no, say hell no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
And
right.
and how are they going to know?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, so the IRS is hiring 83,000 people, and they're going to come after me next year because I didn't report $100. Give me a break.
Yeah.
They just don't have the manpower. And the other thing
the no power, right?
Yeah.
These 83,000 that they're going to hire, I guarantee you, are not sitting at on a crypto help desk answering these kind of questions.
Right. It's very difficult if they think they can do everything electronically to control you.
Yeah.
In some cases, they think they're going to have to send out a physical person, maybe to confront you. But think about this: as this old system starts to die and the actual fiat currency that we use starts to become worthless.
Yeah.
What is the government going to have as a means of exchange to pay off all of their government employees?
Excellent question.
When the value goes down, you're going to have a whole lot of people who are getting paid something that's worthless, and they're not going to want to do that job anymore.
That's an excellent point. Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about the whole thing with, Big Brother is going to come down and just, put a dome over all of us and crush us with,
Yeah.
jack boots and all that. I don't think we're ever going to quite get to that point, because I think the support structure for the government being able to pay all of their people is going to fall apart before we even get to that point.
What are your thoughts on the Fed going bankrupt within maybe a month, 6 weeks? Have you read those stories or heard commentary?
Again, we got a bunch more FUD coming through with that. It's
Yeah.
fear, uncertainty, and desperation.
Well,
So
I'm just wondering if, in a weird kind of way, we, the white hats, the good guys, if we are winning. I mean, you turn on the TV and it is all so controlled. Anybody who consumes news from the TV and let your TV do your thinking for you, well, you're probably not going to really find yourself, you're welcome to the Epic community, but I doubt you will ever find the Epic community, because this is a community of people who tend to think for themselves critically. But could it be that the Druid Babylonian bastards are feeling their grip slip, and so they're becoming, they're swinging for the fences harder here at the end, because they're like, if we don't do it now, we're gonna lose this thing, man.
yeah, well, you can tell that just by, again, like you said, look at the amount of the fear and that exists and that they're putting out there. That's a clear sign of desperation.
Right.
A clear sign of desperation.
Yeah.
So they're going for broke right now. They're throwing everything except the kitchen sink at this thing, because they know that if they lose this battle, they're going to lose the war.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, we've been at war for a long time with these people, and sure, they've won a lot of battles and we've won a few, but it's down to the point now where they're going all in.
But
They're
doesn't the
going all
last,
in.
I guess if I'm a very optimistic person. But if I ever get a little bit disheartened, it's kind of looking over the last 3 years. And I have been one of those persons who have resisted covering my face and just going along to get along, and it sucked. I mean, it's like when you go into a grocery store and you are the asymptomatic silent assassin that everybody looks at you and they're afraid of. The amount of mind control over the general populace is what just blew me away. So it's like, I don't really get that excited about, yeah, they pushed us so far, we're to the point to where people are going to say, hell no. And I kind of think people are going to say, oh, cool. The only way I can get my Social Security benefits is to pivot everything over to a CBDC. The only way, shout out Owen Benjamin, for me to get any kind of goodies from the government for my fancy pants and lollipops is to join up with the CBDC. I'm just, I don't know, man. I wish I were more hopeful that the general populace would just frickin' wake up out of their coma.
Yeah, we won't really know until we get there, but
Yeah.
I have some hope that there are enough people on the edge of waking up to all of this that, yes, it's going to take a push.
Right.
To get them over the edge. And that push could be, you've got to do the CDBC thing or you won't eat next week.
Yeah.
But if that push comes, it's going to push people right off the edge, and they will probably, you'll be surprised, I think, pleasantly, at
Okay.
how many people, because just think of all the people in flyover America that are just, they think they have no choice but to go along to get along.
Right.
And that's to a good extent, that's true, because we all have to get along with, our daily routine and, pay the bills and put food on the
Yeah.
table and all that. But, you can only push that group of people so far. Now, there's a group of people who unfortunately are so brainwashed that, it would take, I don't know, a nuclear explosion to shake them out of their stupor.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people in this country and around the world, really,
Yeah.
who have been pushed in little increments
Yeah.
farther and farther towards the edge of that cliff. And at some point, there's going to be a push, and that group is, instead of jumping off of the cliff, is going to turn around and they're going to push back.
Oh, from your mouth to God's ears. May it come sooner than later.
Absolutely.
So we're up to an hour, and I don't mind going over a little, but why don't you, as somebody who has been keen on self-organizing collectives, why don't you just share a message with the community? Perhaps there are some community members who are watching and reading, and perhaps that's all you do is watch and read and don't get a proverbial oar in the water. But how can people get involved with our collective to be able to help us add value to the Epic Cash ecosystem?
Well, as we grow as a self-organizing collective, we have to do a lot of daily mundane things, just like any organization, any business, any corporation has to do. I
Yeah.
mean, there are just certain things that you have to do. You have to have people doing accounting tasks, data entry tasks. You've got people doing marketing. You've got people doing public relations, outreach. You got the tech weenies in the back room, pounding away on the keyboard.
Yep.
This organization has grown to the point, in order to meet the demands of creating that financial system that's going to replace the old system,
Yep.
that there are, dozens of different projects going on that cover every specialty you can think of. So
Yes.
it's not like, again, we're not just a group of developers, writing code for another shitcoin.
Right.
We are building an entire ecosystem, and there are unlimited opportunities for you to take something that you're good at,
Yep.
and plug it into something that's going on with what we've got going on, because we've got a lot of things going on, and we could always use extra help.
Yeah, the depth and breadth is pretty amazing. So if somebody's watching and you just want to, raise your hand and say, hey, coach, put me in, would love to share with you a little bit about what I think my talents are, and sure could use some help and direction from those who've been here for a while of where I might be able to put my personal oar in the water. Please go to t.me/epic cash. And just simply ask that question, because you're going to get a lot of support and a lot of help and a lot of appreciation. And don't, I know that I've sent you an epic or two with Epic Tipbot, as have others. How amazing is it how giving our community is to those who they see leading with their chin versus their handout?
Yeah, you see a lot of that going on now. Maybe a lot of casual users of our Telegram group who are only in Epic Cash or maybe the help desk, just those two groups.
Yeah.
You know, if they put out that they're looking to do more, then they're going to get responses from different admins of different groups saying, well, try joining this group and try joining that group. And now once you get into these other groups, you find out all of this other great stuff that's going on.
Right.
And you have a chance to not only maybe donate some time toward the goal, but you'll have opportunities again through the tip bot if you want to support somebody that needs some financial aid because they're doing some kind of project where they have to go out and spend money to buy materials or do something like that. But again, there's multiple ways that you can add to the overall effort. It doesn't have to be financial. It could be with time. It could be with your ideas. Again, there's so many things going on in so many different directions.
Yeah, I'll give an example. There are some of you out there who maybe God didn't bless you with the technical side of the brain, like he didn't bless me, but I'm a good communicator. I'm a good writer. I'm a really good writer, and there is a group. Now I destroy it because I cannot pronounce it's called exegetes and herm something. So I call it in hermaphrodites because
close enough.
Close enough. But exegetes I can remember, but that's a collective of, gosh, I don't know, maybe 20 plus writers that are in there. And it's really cool to see the dynamics going on in there. We have raised, we almost have the money raised for this company that's going to allow us to be able to write 16 different articles, basically ghostwrite them, 750 word max. And they're going to get our story out to the world. I mean, I'm talking about their reach is crazy good. So it's cool seeing in the exegetes and herm group to see everybody going in, hive mind engaged, selecting what the article should be. Max gave the direction of what he wants to be covered. And now that group is going to take over, and you're going to have people like Tillman, for example, is somebody who he came in, and man, once his light bulb went off and he had his epic aha moments, he started spitting out article after article after article that, my goodness gracious, I've included them in my show notes. Must read content if you want to be smarter than everybody else who is crypto curious at all. So the resources, so that's a group of writers. Those aren't coders,
Right.
And there's that, we have our mining group, we have our wonderful Ladies of Epic group, and shout out to Mother Trucker, just because she comes to mind as one of these people in this self-organizing collective who, here she is, a grandmother truck driver, and she is all over the place in all of the various groups. I mean, all over the place, literally waking up every day saying, how can I help? And she really leans in. So Mother Trucker, I love you. You are just one of my favorite community members. And I could say that to so many people out there. So forgive me if I'm not. I mean, they're just too many to personally note. But I love this community. How long have you been in crypto, or just crypto savvy, if you will?
I probably got interested from a sort of banking technical background, because I did some banking stuff too. Back in 17.
Okay.
So I was more interested in how do these wallet things work? What's this cold storage all about? how do you store the stuff? How do you move it around? So that's, I wasn't into it for, oh, wow, look at this thing where, you can go day trade and make $1 million. I wasn't into it for that at all. So, I dubbed around with it for about 6 months. I bought a couple of Bitcoin at 1,200 and some ETH and some Litecoin, and, went through the whole process again of, setting up some wallets, doing some
Yep.
storage. And then I had another project coming down the road. So like a lot of projects I've gone through in the past, it's like, oh, been there, done that. Okay, we're done. So about a year later, I unloaded everything I had for double what I paid for it.
Good.
So that wasn't too bad.
Timing,
I think I let the 2 Bitcoin go for 2,750. Oh boy.
Yep.
And
all right.
At the time that was going on, I hooked up with some people, and I think they were in Germany, and they had a coin that interested me. It was called Cloak Coin, and it was the cloak part sounded like it was pretty private and secure. So I got involved with them. I think that was a fork of Litecoin.
Okay.
And so I took their Linux code and I put it on my little Raspberry Pi, and I cross-compiled it, and I had all their stuff running on a little Raspberry Pi.
Wow.
And that was fun. And
That's cool.
but again, at the end of about a year of playing with that, I kind of moved on, and I pretty much, except for keeping track of what was going on in a general sense with crypto, just from my daily have coffee and go to SGT Report and Zero Hedge and Citizen Free Press and all of my favorite stops on the internet for real news. Then I just kept the whole crypto thing in the background until the SGT interview. And it's like, oh, I think it's time to get interested in this again.
That's great. And I was curious because I didn't know if you had a lot of experience with other communities, be it XMR or anything. And I was just going to ask the open-ended question: Have you seen a community like ours? And let me lead the witness here a little bit. That Taylor, who is the lead writer for Coin Bureau, he wrote an article on Mimblewimble, which led him to Epic Cash, which led him to some exploratory conversations with us, which led him down the rabbit hole, which led him to be now a raving fan of Epic Cash, who is a community member now. He's in the O5 group. He's in multiple groups. And I can tell you, just from a direct messaging standpoint, the guy is so epic curious, it blows my mind. And he self-attests that he has never, ever seen anything like this. Now, this is the guy who writes all the articles for Coin Bureau. YouTube has 2.2 million subscribers. It looks like Gus is going to come on Max's DNA of Bitcoin and have a good conversation with him. So, but when Taylor, when I read the message from him that he's like, I'm just so blown away with everything. I've never seen another community like it. To me, that holds a ton of water and a ton of weight. So epic community. If you're watching this, you are an OG, because we are so undiscovered. The world just doesn't know about us, ... yet.
Correct. Yeah. Epic's value isn't in the dollar exchange rate of the coin. It's in the community that's behind it. That's the real value.
Right.
And anyone.
And Taylor, the reason why, and he anchored it, he says, especially in this crypto winter, where he says it looks like development on every other project is just shutting down.
Well, yeah, and anybody out there that's a crypto expert, and heavily involved in this, which I'm not, I come from a whole different background than crypto, but the real experts out there, if they were really truly interested in the paradigm of what crypto has to offer and not the individual value of all these individual coins and laser focused on just Bitcoin or just Ethereum, if they were willing to have an open mind and give Epic a good look-see,
Yep.
they would come to their own conclusions, as many other have, that this is something different. This is something that isn't just a coin, it's a concept. It's a new paradigm that truly has the potential to be a replacement for our dying financial system, our BMMG FRBS.
That's right. Babylonian money magic global fractional reserve banking system and its ultimate demise. By the way, Jeff, thank you for that. I screw that up all the time. I call Guy Gus, and I should stop doing that. But it's Guy who is he's the Coin Bureau YouTube influencer that is the only one out there, to my knowledge, that is not the only one. I mean, you have like SGT Report and other really good ones, but 2.2 million subscribers, and Guy got there without being in the pay to play business. It's just good old fashioned, roll the sleeves up and do my own work type research. So awesome. Well, I have really, really enjoyed this, and I'd love to have you on anytime you want to come on. If as you are working with the community and developing things, and if things are coming out or that you want to bring to the community's attention, just DM me and we'll work you in, because really appreciate and value your oar in the water, and you're a good communicator, and I've just really enjoyed this interview, and I hope everyone in the community has as well. It's just been awesome, Sky King.
Well, it's been great. This has been wonderful, but I do have to admit that I've done all this for purely selfish reasons, because I absolutely love what I'm doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And it's okay to be selfish like that.
Yeah, it's exactly 100%. It's
yeah.
I concur. I concur.
Yep.
It's like
I don't wake up. We can come.
Go ahead.
No, I say we can come back anytime. There's some interesting developments going on in the background. The elves are hard at work in the engine room.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Because we're growing so fast and some of this daily organization we need. I've been working on getting us a collaboration system going, and that's going to be running on one of our servers, so everybody can share files and folders and do all that. Because right now, we have to go out and do like Google Docs, if we want to share stuff, and there's better ways to do that. And we're looking at having our own possible video conferencing through maybe Jitsi instead of having to use Zoom or Google Meet. So again, we're trying to find things that we can run on our own servers and not have to rely on third-party stuff. It'll be a little more private.
Yep.
So there's lots of irons in the fire as far as projects, not only for to advance Epic, but there's a lot of irons in the fire to make sure that we have that foundation as an organization where we can function amongst ourselves as a community, so we can have the resources we need, we can share pieces of information, we can still communicate together correctly. So Lots of good things happening in that respect. But
Absolutely.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this. Kind of what you just said, lots of irons in the fire in development. Todd Lewis, he was our weekly, he was kind of my co-host on this. He and Max on Wednesdays, where we're more tech focused, noon every Wednesday. And so he just said, hey, look, I need to get to work with my team and take some time off from this. And Max, by the way, is taking I think 5 days off, he and his wife.
Yeah.
Good on you. And I hope you guys don't check in at all. We're going to be just fine. Gosh, he puts, I don't know, 16, 20 hours a day in, and he has for 5 years. So you deserve this break. I will not DM you. I promise you that. There's just no reason for it. But so these Wednesdays, I'm going to work more towards cycling in some guests like you. So I think it's fun, and I'm sure the community will enjoy it. So by the way, I was going to live stream last night. I do a Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. live stream with my friend Ab, where we don't talk about just crypto. We talk about what's going on in this crazy world. And I had to punt last night, but it's going to be tonight. And he drives a truck and makes deliveries, and it's 'tis the season where they are really, really busy. So instead of 8 o'clock, it's going to be 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope everybody comes and enjoys that, because we haven't talked for a few weeks, and it's always good catching up with Ab. So that'll be tonight. And then of course, Friday is Epic Cash Live, noon Eastern time, my favorite time of the week, because that's where we give you the macro epic updates. So, okay. And by the way, this one's going to be really, really good. It's going to special feature Yoga Dude, and he is going to break your brain, totally break your brain on why Orange Coin might be disappeared by communists. That's a teaser for you. All right. I will see you guys later. Thanks again. I really, really appreciate your time, Sky King. And fly down here to Tampa and see me.
It's been great. We'll do it again soon.
All right.